Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and I'm going to pull you back into some focus here. I'm going to talk about corridors and the regulatory clarity. I know there's a lot to look at when you are an XRP holder, and there's sometimes people really have a tendency to chase the next new thing. But I want to tell you that the corridors that are opening up and the regulatory clarity, in my opinion, are the two things we really need to stay focused on. We have to keep our eye on those two issues because they are going to be the most important in the short term for the XRP holders. And you can see from the market report from Ripple, we have learned officially there are new fiat corridors, and this is the on-demand liquidity payment channels for the Australian dollar into the US dollar and also the Philippine peso, along with the euro and US dollar. And the Asian Pacific region, along with the Europe, Middle East, Africa region, and Latin America are all in progress. Okay, let's look at the liquidity specifically. Three of those channels. This is just a couple of hours old, and it is the liquidity index for the XRP Australian dollar. It's been on a very strong all-time high for the last 10 days. It has just been active since January 8th, and we can see a little bit of testing that was done in December, but it is definitely off to a good start. Then what I have here is the Philippine peso. This is just a couple of hours old too. You can see that the all-time high also has been set 5 days in a row, 1,792,000,000 for that daily volume. And then let's take a look at the Mexican peso. This is on Bitso. We know this is what MoneyGram is using. It's quite impressive, and it has had continued growth consistently since September, reaching 10 million daily volume in December. But now with Sunday, it has reached. And so something sounded funny there. It did reach 11.2 million. And these all-time highs are in the right direction, everybody, and we're going to see a lot more of this in 2020, a lot more than we did in 2019. So the Asia-Pacific region, I think, this is my opinion, I'm talking here, I think we're going to see for 2020 the countries like Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore go live. And for the Middle East, I think, based on the research that I've done, the UAE, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia will go live. For Latin America, well, we know the Brazilian real is being tested, and we also have the announcement from the bank in Peru that they are going to use on-demand liquidity of XRP for their solutions. So that is what? That is going to be 14 countries. That's my guess. And you can probably get maybe 20 different corridors out of that because you can hang multiple countries off of one particular payment channel. So Naveen Gupta said that there are 50 channels, the corridors, that are significant and that Ripple has its eye on. I do think 2020 is going to surprise you, and we're going to see a lot of announcements like this coming soon. Well, the BlockChain Association, it's a collaborative effort with the goal to improve public policy. And yeah, it is the network that can really help cryptocurrency thrive in the US. The members are committed to link that education and also be a strong voice regarding the fairness of cryptocurrency. And they work particularly with Washington, D.C. And when you go to the BlockChain Association Medium blog, you can see that they have formed a new market integrity working group. And this was announced on Friday. They're going to really work on that fairness. And Breanne Madigan, the head of global institutional markets at Ripple, will be the co-chair, along with Rachel Nelson. She is the associate general counsel at Coinbase. Let's hope the two of them really make a strong team and they get in front of the right audience and their voice is heard. Now, I know Breanne is really quite qualified and good at her job, and I think I don't have any question she's going to be effective. I didn't know too much about Rachel. Rachel is a Stanford grad. She's been at Coinbase since October. She's also, in her career, she worked for an unnamed crypto exchange in New York. She said that the name is withheld on her LinkedIn. I don't know. New York, maybe it's Genesis. I'm not sure. She also worked at Paxos. They are the company that provides services to trade, settle, and manage assets. They're a group that's been around a long time in this space, since 2012. Yeah, that's a long time for this space. So I just do hope that they work well together. The 8K form, you probably remember this. This is when MoneyGram filed with the SEC to draw down on that right of the 20 million in the form of that letter of credit to sell those 626,000 in some shares at $4.10. And the signature that was on this form was Robert L. Villasenor. It was signed on the 25th of November 2019. And we can see that on the 24th, on Friday, MoneyGram actually announced that Robert will move from an interim position to actually a permanent position as General Counsel for MoneyGram, and he will oversee the global legal matters for the company and communicate with the regulators, and lawmakers on matters that impact MoneyGram and the money transfer industry. Okay, everybody, I'm jumping to the fluff. And I just have to say how sad I am that Kobe Bryant passed away with his daughter and others in the helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. It's just terribly horrific and so sad. And I just know that he's going to be missed in many, many ways. He was a great father, and he was also a great mentor to a lot of kids in Los Angeles. And it's just really very, very sad news. Well, I think Japan is also feeling the sadness because he was well known here, mainly because his parents named him after the famous Kobe beef in Kobe, Japan. Now, I should tell you that in Japan, we actually pronounce this Kobe. So Kobe is a very beautiful, beautiful city. It is an old city. It has a castle that was built in 1333. So it's much older than Tokyo. And it sits on the Osaka Bay and then has the Mount Roko behind it. So it's, in terms of its, the view that you get, is just spectacular. And it is the second most popular area behind Tokyo. This is where karaoke was invented. And it also was home of the fastest supercomputer called the K computer. It's not the fastest anymore. So, but they did develop that K computer there. It's home to some of the best sake in Japan. I think it goes between, I don't know, Niigata and Kobe for having some of the best sake. And being a castle town is very important because the castle is on the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it is also the center of jazz in Japan, and it has the longest suspension bridge in the world. It is built to withstand those big typhoons that come through that part of the country. It faces the front very often, so it's getting a lot of typhoons that move through there. So if you want to go to Kobe, there is one way to get there that I think you should consider. This is a smaller boutique cruise ship. It's actually a subsidiary of Royal Caribbean Cruises, and it's a smaller ship, and it goes on a 15-day tour where you can originate in Singapore And it has 5 countries in all. So you can travel from Singapore to Vietnam. You can see China, Taiwan, and then it makes 2 stops actually it makes 3 stops in Japan, Kagoshima, Kobe, and Tokyo. And that's where you end. Now, I know it probably seems like, oh, this is out of my price range. Well, it is pretty luxurious, but it's not crazy price. Now, I'm not saying you're going to compare to staying at a backpacker's hotel. But if you are going to stay in hotels and you figure your travel and your food, this is a good value. And I think it is something that everybody who enjoys this kind of travel might put on their wish list. And everybody needs a wish list. We all need something to work towards every day, because I know everybody is working so hard that this might be something you want to work towards. Look at the rooms here. They're just actually looking so comfortable. So how much is it? Well, it's about $200 a day, a little under. And if you were to figure all your travel, your food, and your hotel room, I think actually it's a pretty good value. All right. I hope that you have at least a big wish list, because we all need a wish list. Okay, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.